mention it separately or ask for it to be called up separately. My bill,
See how I use Creative Cloud Pro to take my design projects to the next level. I use Adobe Illustrator's new AI tools to create graphics, Generative Fill to add in interesting details, and Generative Expand to make it a full-size illustration. And that's it.
1 spoonful of honey with cinnamon before bed equals 0 memory collapse. The secret, the billion-dollar industry.
Somebody's implying that this to me is not about resources for my state. I will fight for Jersey every day, every night. And when it comes to the police officers of my state, anybody who implies that something is going on other than my allegiance and fealty to the safety, strength, and protection of my police officers because they protect me and everybody in this body. This is a call, folks. The Democratic Party needs a wake-up call. I see law firms bending a knee to this president, not caring about the larger principles, that those free speech rights, that you could take on any client, why are you bending the knee? I see universities that should be bastions of free speech bending at the knee to this president. I see businesses taking late-night talk show hosts off the air because they dare to insult a president. I see people who want mergers suddenly think that they have to pay tribute to this president. And what are the very people here elected to defend the Constitution of the United States saying, oh, well, today, let's look the other way and pass some resources that won't go to Connecticut, that won't go to Illinois, that won't go to New York, that will go to the states he likes. That is complicity with an authoritarian leader who is trashing our Constitution. It's time for Democrats. I've seen something I haven't seen since I've been on the Judiciary Committee, which is a complete chorus of condemnation of a circuit court judge. We've had every single person express an interest in coming down here from the Democratic members of that committee to condemn us moving forward with such rapid pace on this nomination. Now, I would love to just leave it there, but there is something that makes it even more urgently necessary to focus, because as much as it might seem like this is a Democrat versus Republican, I'm very happy to see already some Republicans, not enough for us to stop this nomination, but this will be a bipartisan group of opponents, which is rare in this time of fierce partisanship, to see some Republicans looking at the evidence, looking at what Mr. Bovee has said, looking at what Mr. Bovee has done, looking at how he has insulted the very office that he hopes to hold of a judge's orders. People who are looking objectively at the facts are starting to see that this would be a terrible mistake in a bipartisan way. That gives me some hope that with the hours left on the clock, perhaps others too will take the time to understand one of two things. One, clearly, as I believe, and others, not just Democrats, but career prosecutors, career public defenders. We have seen judges. We have seen so many people come forward from both sides of the aisle to say this is wrong. It would be wrong for the senators to do this. This is why we're starting to see some Republicans show more interest, and at least more than one come forward and say they will not support this nominee. It's because the facts are so glaringly clear that this is someone who has no respect for the rule of law. This is someone who's shown that no temperament to be a judge. This is someone who has been condemned for his lack of ethics, that has withheld exculpatory evidence as a prosecutor, has been given the worst Brady violation condemnation from a judge. There are so many things that are legion about this individual that on the face of it is why so many career professionals are coming forward to say that we should not be moving forward. But the second reason why people are having pause is because We are rushing this nomination before questions are answered. Too many people are moving too quickly on the other side of the aisle to get this done before questions are answered. Information is obtained from the record that this body, which is supposed to be deliberative, is supposed to advise and consent, should not be moving forward if they were to honor the obligations that we have. Let me give the multiple reasons why we are moving too quickly, without information, on substantive things that should raise alarms for all of my colleagues. We asked to hear the testimony of a whistleblower who came forward with tangible evidence, texts, and emails showing that Emil Bovie instructed the DOJ attorneys to ignore a court order if it impeded Trump's agenda. Bovie said, "F you to the courts." Republicans in the Senate Judiciary Committee refused to hold a hearing to meet with this whistleblower, not a Democrat, but a career prosecutor. Instead, we saw the vote being rammed through in the committee. Senator Kim and Senator Blumenthal and members on the Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, which has oversight on the question of whether DHS violated a court order, asked the whistleblower to testify before them under oath. That committee has also not concluded their oversight. It is just a stunning and alarming fact that my colleagues on the Republican side have disregarded the credible account of someone who dedicated 15 years to public service and jeopardized their career and reputation to come forward at a time that people who step forward and tell the truth often face real reprisals. Second, in 2018, many former Southern District of New York prosecutors took the unprecedented step of alerting Emil Bovie's supervisors to his unethical conduct as a prosecutor, calling him the drunk driver of prosecutors, saying that he was reckless and dangerous in the way that he went about with prosecutions. Unprecedented step of former SDNY prosecutors. 2 years later, Emil Bovie was responsible for the biggest Brady violation in Southern District of New York's history. He withheld exculpatory evidence, resulting in the DOJ having to toss out the case after a guilty verdict. His actions were so egregious that the judge used them as an example of what a prosecutor should never do. Many of my colleagues and I on the Judiciary Committee have requested more information from the Southern District of New York about his tenure. We still have not gotten it, yet we are moving forward. Number three, finally, after receiving credible information of Emil Bovie's role in the Trump administration's burying of evidence about what is going on right now, the man that was at the central position to know what was going on with the Epstein files, we have made legitimate requests from him about this, and he has not responded. There are so many questions about Mr. Trump's interest in hiding whatever their files are, contradicting themselves. Either there are truckloads of evidence and lists, or they're not, but Emil Bovie was acting in the Justice Department at the time, and now we have even more reason to question Emil Bovie. Just hours ago, it was revealed that the DOJ told Donald Trump that his name appears many times in those files. Emil Bovie was the top official at DOJ who also happens to be Trump's personal lawyer. We should know what his role was in reversing course on releasing those files. It would be unconscionable for the Senate to move forward with his confirmation with those answers not being provided. As I told the Judiciary Committee, there is a false urgency around this nominee. The only reason for this urgency is because the president wants his loyalists on the federal bench without facing any more scrutiny as to what he knows and what his role was. Even without answering these questions, there is more than enough in his record that disqualifies Bovie from a lifetime appointment to one of the highest courts. But let's go one more. January 6th. Bovie's role in Donald Trump's administration's effort to erase the tragic events of January 6th, of that attack on the Capitol, is disqualified.